And just like that, it was Wednesday afternoon, and we're just gone midday. Hello, and welcome to the Just Gone Midday show, which doesn't scan as well as the midday show, so we just call it that. Today, we're talking all about gratitude. So I'll just give it a couple of minutes just to do some hellos and welcome everyone along to the show, and then we get started. Hello. So, how is everyone? Are we all well? Getting weird messages on my screen. Yeah, get rid of that. Who needs that? Oh no, I don't want to remove that. No, Russ would be furious if I did that. I was about to get rid of the message. So let's say a couple of hellos. We're talking all about gratitude today. We had this lady on Monday, and I was so excited to get her back on. I said, we've got to get you back on Wednesday because I think this is worth a whole hour. And I'm sure Patrick, the other guest on Monday, will be getting plenty more airtime too because he was really interesting too. He's written a book all about the Beatles. But this is a different subject, and I'm looking forward to getting into it. So I'll just wait and do a couple of hellos. So we just tuned in, pop a comment in, pop a little comment in the chat room, and I can say a quick hello to you. Welcome you all to the show. Welcome you all to group, as it were. And then we get started talking to Sarit, which I'm looking forward to. I can't wait to get her on. I can see her waiting in the green room. She's eyeing up the virtual croissants in the green room. I wonder if there is such a thing as a virtual croissant. Let's get her on. Good morning, Sarit. How are you?
Good morning or / good afternoon. I'm very well.
You know, you're right. It is afternoon. That catches me every time.
You were on the borderline, so I'll let it fly.
That's very kind.
Nice.
That's very kind. Thank you. Openness, courage, positivity, and passion. I see in the background.
Yes, and the one that we missed last time, I think you can see, is trust.
Oh, and trust. Now, you didn't show us that on Monday.
No,
now, just for the backstory, for the benefit of those that have just tuned in, you were on Monday with me and Russ and another guest, Patrick. Hello, Julie. How you doing? Good to have you tuned in. Hi, Julie. And subjects like yours, I'm absolutely all over. And since we rebranded as the Midday show, there's been a slight change in format, but I do still like to talk about mental health quite a lot on Wednesdays, because mental health it's a big thing for me, and I like to think myself as a bit of an advocate for mental health, and you clearly are as well. I don't know many people who would have opened this courage, positivity, passion, and trust on notes behind them if they weren't some sort of involved in the mental health field in some way. To be honest with you, you're writing a book, or we've written a book, and it's going to be released very soon. So I want to hear all about that. And it's all about gratitude. And I really wanted to do a whole hour on this. And I'll tell you why in just a moment. But just briefly, can you just give us your backstory, just in a nutshell, of how you got to this point?
Yeah, sure. So as I mentioned on Monday, I was suffering from depression from the age of 15 to my early 30s. And it became breakthrough after breakthrough after breakthrough, and gratitude was part of that journey. I'm not saying that it broke me out of depression completely, because a whole host of other things needed to happen. Like I needed to learn to accept myself as being really sensitive and accept myself for who I am, love myself, and become more aware of my inner voice. Like everyone's got their inner voice, that inner voice, which is just you, just you, not influenced by your programming or your conditioning, not influenced by external influences. Is your soul, really. I'm talking about the soul.
Right. So yeah, and I've also heard the term higher self or source energy voice and or whatever. And I think to distinguish it's never got a negative opinion of things. Whereas the inner critic, which we've got as well, always has a negative opinion of things. It's like a little troll. And I think it's a part of the healing journey is distinguishing between the two, isn't it?
Totally. No, it's okay. So I've basically been on a journey to come back to my heart, because this world is very head oriented. And and like over the last year, I've been on a journey to follow my heart and live from my heart.
How's it going?
Do you know what? I've had a dark night of the soul, if anyone knows what that means. It's like, really, really difficult period where you just feel like you can't go on, and maybe you want to just give up spirituality because it just feels too hard. But now I just feel so grateful because I feel like I'm living more in flow. I'm living more from my heart. I'm slowing down. I know I'm only 47, but I don't mean slowing down as in do less. I just mean spreading things out more so that I'm not trying to pack everything in,
So,
if
I
that
mean,
makes sense.
so yes, it does make sense. Living in flow. I remember I, I experienced flow when I was doing a virtual party broadcasting over lockdown, and it's just the most ecstatic state to be in. I mean, the emotional state is ecstasy. I don't know if you've read much of the neuroscience about it, but it's the only state that the scientists know about where we get all 7 bliss chemicals at once. So, talk about being high on your own brain chemistry. It feels amazing. And I can tell you this, if the whole world was in flow more of the time, we'd have a transformed world, 100%. And it does make things a lot easier. It's almost, how can I put it? It's kind of paradoxy. It's a bit like you're on a boat, a little boat in the river, and the river's powerful and it's taking you, but all you have to do is very gently guide it. And you trust the river's going to take you where you want to go with the least of guidance from you. What most of us do when we're in sort of struggle mind is get out and try and push the boat upstream. Is that a
Yeah,
reasonable analogy, would you say? But
yeah.
do you have to have a dark night of the soul to access these good things? It's like that old kind of saw, oh, you've got to suffer to get to God. Oh, spirituality, it's all about suffering. You know what I mean? Do you have to kind of go through hell to get to heaven, so to speak?
So the new thinking in the spiritual circles I've been in
Go on.
is that we grow from joy now. We grow
Oh,
from
thank
joy.
God, it's about bloody time.
I know, right? I know. But I think that that's part of the transformation this earth is going through, is that, you know, for so long we've all been like push, push, push on, you can only get joy if you work hard. Now we're hopefully, I know in my circles, people are starting to open up to, you know, you find your inner joy just by being yourself. Like you experienced it, you know, in flow through the bliss of serving at a party. You know, I say serving, I'm using that as a like a general term.
Yeah, I know what you mean. I think the word service has got a bit of a bad rap, as many of these words have. But I think
Oh,
people confuse
tell me more.
service with being kind of servile, which is completely different. But
Right.
it's doing something which I'm good at doing and thoroughly enjoying doing it, and other people enjoying what I'm doing, and I'm good at doing what I'm doing. That's great. I mean,
Yeah.
who wouldn't want that?
Yeah. And wouldn't it be amazing if we get our joy through our service, if our greatest flourishing came because of our greatest service? That's the kind of
Yeah,
flow
yeah,
that I'm talking about.
absolutely. Are you familiar with the term ikigai?
Yes, yes,
That's
beautiful.
kind of where you're going with this, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah, that sweet spot of
That's I'm
loving.
going to look it up for the benefit of those tuned in, because it's like if you remember the Venn diagrams at school, um, they were normally threes, weren't they? But this is like 4 intersecting circles, and in the big circles you've got, I'm looking it up now. You've got what you love, you've got what the world needs, what you can be paid for, and what you're good at. Um, and there's passion, mission, vocation, and profession, but the sweet spot of where they all intersect. So you're doing what you love, it's what the world needs, you can be paid for it, and you're good at it. That's your ikigai. It's a Japanese word.
Yeah.
And again, that's flow and all that sort of thing. So are you saying that you only had a kind of a dark night of the soul to show yourself that you didn't need to have a dark night of the soul?
No,
It's,
I
it's,
think I,
it's a bit like hitting yourself over the head with a hammer just to experience how nice it is when you stop doing it, isn't it? But are we kind of like spiritual masochists? What are we trying to learn here?
I was attached to a specific outcome, and I was attached to things needing to be in a certain way, and I wasn't allowing myself to receive the help from what I call it source. Other people may say God, other people,
Yeah, I prefer the word source.
Yeah.
The G word's a bit loaded
And
after centuries of
yeah, oh yeah, totally. And I
not,
don't think it's a
not too
man.
positive things happening with that word. Yeah.
Yeah, no, and I don't think it's male energy. I think it's a balance of both female and sorry, feminine and masculine energy. Anyway,
It's
that's
kind of
my
all the energies, isn't it? It's not
yeah,
just, yeah,
yeah,
certainly not a
yeah.
bloke on a cloud or a woman for that matter.
Indeed, indeed. Yeah. Yeah, so I really felt that once I was able to receive that help and it got me through the dark night of the soul and I stayed on my path, I felt like, okay, I don't need to go through these anymore. I just need to relax more. And that's the thing. The world isn't about relaxing. You know, it's
No,
all
you could
hurry,
split it
hurry.
into intellectual mind and higher mind, couldn't you? And I'm not saying there's anything wrong per se with the intellectual mind. We all need it. I think Einstein said we've made it the master when it should be the servant.
Yeah.
But too much in the intellectual mind will lead to struggle, will lead to burnout, because it's only got its limits. It's not stupid, it's not dumb, but it does have its limits. And we sometimes don't think that, like you say, you were attached, and you don't see that help could come from any source, but maybe one you're least expecting. It could be something a small child says when you're walking down the street, you know. Yesterday, I didn't particularly interpret this, but I was in a theme park yesterday and someone walked past me with a t-shirt saying it's all going to be okay. Maybe just, I don't know, little things like that. Was that significant? I don't know, but it reminds me of do you remember the film Watership Down? Oh, you've frozen. And I was just getting to the good bit. It'll reboot in a second, no doubt. Or I was just saying about the film Watership Down, and it's basically rabbits, and the sun is there. Oh, hello.
I went to switch my Wi-Fi booster on.
Oh, of course, that's really weird because you froze and then you came back and you weren't there. I was like, okay, this is freaky. I've never lost a guest before.
She disappeared in a puff of magic. It's because we were talking about the higher energies. They're like, "Hi, we're here."
Yeah, that's what it is. You're bilocating or something. Don't do that.
Sorry, no, I had to switch because you froze as well. So I thought must be my Wi-Fi. Let me go.
I was saying, do you remember the film Watership Down? Do you remember that?
Yes. Oh my gosh. Yes.
Where the sun is the god, and the sun's trying to give advice, and the rabbit's going nope, and he sticks his head in the ground and leaves his bum sticking up. So the sun goes, all right then, I'm trying to give you my blessing, so I'll have to bless your bum, and that's why rabbits have white tails.
Oh my gosh, how sweet. I didn't even remember that part. I only remember crying a lot. But there you go. I did tell you.
I did, but I was very young. I was very young when I saw it. But it's a very good film, actually. That bit's right at the very beginning. It's kind of how it all began. Yeah, wow. But we're a bit like that. We stick our heads in the ground. I guess it's a fairly innocent thing because we're all conditioned to think I think the biggest mistake we make is if something's not working, let's do more of it. Let's bang our heads against the brick wall harder, and maybe that'll work. Friends, if you tuned in, it doesn't. That leads to burnout. All right, and trust me, burnout's not fun.
No, but I think that we have been conditioned to, as I was saying before, about the mind. Sorry, I feel a bit. I don't know why I'm feeling distracted. I think it was the Wi-Fi thing. I'll just try and come back to myself for a moment.
Take your time. You're doing great. It's just a friendly chat, no more.
No, I feel very welcome. And I also wanted to say on Monday, I felt really welcome. So I thank you for that.
That's because you were.
Oh, thank you.
And
thank you. I have to show you my mug. It says, I'm going to be a rock star. And this is my mug. I just wanted to share that with you because you guys are rock stars.
Thank you. I've got a selection of mugs with dubious messages on there as well. I've got a DJ mug. It says "F off, I'm mixing." My DJ mug.
Yeah.
So where do we get to?
I think I was just going to come back to it's faith. What I'm getting at is that a lot of people struggle to have faith in the higher energy that they cannot see and is not tangible. And I get that. And I was one of those people. But I've had
Me
so
too.
many things. Yeah, I've had so many things happen in my life that I cannot explain and now don't need to. And I'm also not looking for all the answers. We will never get all the answers. Maybe, you know, once we transition, we certainly will get more of them. But I just think that if we can let go of having all these fixed ideas of what our lives need to look like, what even our bodies and our faces need to look like, and what we're supposed to do, and just be open, because we've all got a unique purpose. And if everyone tuned into their unique purpose, this world would just light up completely.
Yeah. I mean, you mentioned self-acceptance. That's a key part of anyone's healing journey, isn't it? That it doesn't matter what you look like, what you sound like, blah, 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 blah. And of course, nothing wrong wanting to look good, sound good, feel good. Nothing wrong with any of those things. But I always think of the celebrities that have one thing done, then another thing done, then another thing done. And I wonder what's going on inside and why they keep needing to do that. And I don't think it's a happy place for a lot of those people, at a guess.
Yeah, I really struggle with the beauty industry and the fitness industry, actually.
Okay, why?
Yeah, well, I mean, I as I mentioned on Monday, I lost a friend to anorexia. She was 21, and it was such a waste. She was such a beautiful person, inside and out, but unfortunately, people couldn't see her beauty. They would have considered her obese, and she was teased about it and just lost a whole lot of weight. And I had to watch her disappear before my eyes. It was that, obviously that was in the middle of
So because of the
depression.
judgment of other people, she
Yeah,
internalized that
yeah.
and I suppose took it too far. Is that what you're saying? And it
Well,
went too far in the opposite
yeah,
direction.
she no longer had control over it, unfortunately, by that point. And I just, you know, when I look at the adverts nowadays and on Instagram and things like that, a lot of them are much better, which is fantastic.
Yeah.
But, you know, I see things like in makeup adverts that say, make yourself beautiful. And I just think that is sending the message that we are not inherently beautiful, and we need to spend money on a product that someone else has designed and apply it to ourselves.
Well, yeah,
Instead,
they're creating the problem and offering the solution for it.
I suppose it's kind of fair enough, but I want to live in a world where we don't have to, where they can find something else to sell.
Have you
You
heard
know?
of models of diversity?
No, I haven't.
Give
Ooh,
it a
I might.
Google. It's some people I've had some dealings with over lockdown, and this is opening up the modelling industry, really with that message that everyone has a beauty of some kind, and this could be a person in a wheelchair with one leg, and they will find beauty in that. All colours, all sexualities, all shapes, all sizes, not this kind of typical beauty of whatever's in vogue at the moment. Because I mean, I like, I like pretty girls, but like the rest of them, but there's many types of beauty, including an inner beauty. Of course there is.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Of course there is. Yeah, models of diversity, and they're doing a lot of good work. And they're just, and of course, beauty could be whatever's in vogue at the moment. Do you remember that awful time in the 90s of heroin chic? Do you remember that? Where the
Vaguely,
fashionable thing was to look like a withdrawing heroin addict.
yeah. Yeah.
Now, since when was that beautiful? Moody, yeah, sultry a little, but I wouldn't say beautiful. I didn't particularly want it on my bedroom wall, you know.
Well, I used to think about who makes these decisions, who is
Yes,
influencing. I would love to meet these people and just say, why?
yes.
You
You'd
know,
like to have a few strong words with them.
a few strong, kind words with them, always with kindness. Yeah, I'm really trying to let go of arguing with people now. This is also part of the spiritual journey.
Oh, me
Unity.
too. I'm absolutely
Yeah,
done with conflict. I absolutely hate
yeah.
it. I'm done with it.
Yeah, we need to unify. We need to get on each other's teams. I mean, this is the thing. We are on each other's team. everyone's on the team humanity, but we need to behave like it. I know it's hard, but anyway, that's just my tuppence.
I think a lot of people's fear with something like that is, does that mean along the lines of, do I have to be around awful people that trigger me? And I think the answer is no. We've all got our right to have boundaries. There's, but I know some people that could start an argument in an empty room, and I just don't want to be around people like that will start an argument just for their love of drama, and I don't need to be around that. And I'm actually going, nope, don't fancy that. I'd rather be having conversations like this. But gratitude, let's come back to that, because we're stuck. I can do that, by the way. I can go off at tangents, and I suddenly looked at the clock, and we've tangentized for about 21 minutes. Great conversation, as the best conversations do, Sarit. Right, so, where are you from, by the way, originally?
Israel. I was born in Israel.
Lovely.
I moved here when I was 3. Yeah, so
it was Israeli scientists that discovered the endocannabinoid system. But our inner system for cannabinoids, it was discovered by the Israelis.
Wow.
Yeah.
Did not know that.
Well, there you go. I'm a mine of useless information. Anyway,
great information.
So part of it is self-acceptance.
Yeah.
And then the gratitude, because I'm going to nail my colours to the mast. I read a really good book, and I intend to read yours too, called The Gratitude Jar. And it's a lovely biographical story. And it's a lady that was, I think single mum, not particularly happy, struggling, depressed, overweight, blah, 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 typical story. And she literally turned her life around with gratitude. What I don't mean is the circumstances were still shit, but she felt better about them.
Wow.
I mean, literally, her outer world changed to reflect the changes within her. So, and it almost like it was mirroring her new self back to her, as it were, right?
Fantastic.
Even with money, even with that challenging subject of money, it was mirroring it back. So gratitude was causal here, according to that. It wasn't the effect, it was cause. Therefore, it's a pretty powerful thing.
Yeah.
Over to you. Tell us about your journey with gratitude.
Yeah, so my journey's been quite different, because it hasn't. Gratitude has transformed my inner world and my ability to live in this world and accept it, whereas before I didn't want to. I wasn't able to accept living in this world as the person I am. So I'm still on that journey to transform my outer world, but that's why I need the other things. So I operate on 3 keys to mental well-being, which is self-awareness, self-kindness, and self-nourishment. And gratitude comes under self-nourishment for me. It's a part of the process of nourishing myself every day and pouring in blessings of good energy all the time so that I can feel good in this world and eventually access my best life, which is coming. It is coming. And I feel like the book is going to help me create this lovely community that I want.
It's almost like you've written your own instruction manual.
Yeah, it's funny you say that. I actually started doing that. It's probably going to be book number 2.
But it's all part of your journey, like this lady with the gratitude jar. I mean, read that if you want to more proof that, or social proof that it works, and it will come what you're looking for, absolutely no question, because it literally did turn her life around. And it's a really nice story as well. She's got a little boy involved, and they do little gratitude rituals every night, and they put all the things they're grateful for in the gratitude jar. And it might just seem whimsical, but on an energetic level, it's not. Is it?
No, absolutely. It's all the layers of your life. I've actually felt physically my well-being has improved since I've had gratitude wired into my brain. I mean, the last time I got really ill was in 2020 when I got COVID. That was the last time. I've had like a little sniffle here, a little thing here, but I just my immune system feels more robust. And
And I
certainly
can believe that,
stress is
because
low.
it will affect every part of your body, every part of your life, won't
Yeah,
it? So you
yeah,
say it's wider.
relationship.
What are you grateful for today, right now? What's good in your world right now, Sarit?
That I am very close to finishing my book, and then I
Yes.
will actually be able to serve more people. Because do you know what? That's been one of the most frustrating things for me, is not being able to serve more people because of the challenges I've been having. Like, as an example, during COVID, I launched my mental well-being company, Highest Good Wellbeing. But because .com.
Never miss an
Because
opportunity for a plug.
okay, well, if you want to go there, here's the t-shirt.
You didn't miss the opportunity for a plug. You were just waiting for the lead in.
Well, I mean, really, what I wanted was for you to ask me why I've got Chief Nourishment Officer on my t-shirt, but it's too low down, so you couldn't see it. We'll get to that.
Why have you got Chief Nourishment Officer on it? I've never heard of a Chief Nourishment Officer. What on earth is that?
Well, thank you. That's my role in my organisation, Chief Nourishment Officer. But my aim for the company is to help people become their own Chief Nourishment Officer, and to learn what it is that they need to do to have well-being every day. That's the goal.
As opposed to something we have to work for, sacrifice
Yeah.
for.
Well, that's the thing, isn't it? It's if you can find those things that fill your cup and embed them, then you can pour from a cup of amazing energy. You don't have to be burnt out. You don't have to suffer. You don't have to help people and be like, oh gosh, this is really difficult. You can be like, I've got enough for me and for them.
This is really key. This is really
Yeah.
key, because I'm maybe quite similar like this. You know, you enjoy making a difference to people. You enjoy helping people out. Yeah, me too. But one of my favourite sayings is, you can't give from an empty cup. Tried it. That leads to burnout. You know, when you go for the flight, it's put your oxygen mask on first, and then pick your favourite child, which I thought I heard a comedian say it once. I thought it was quite funny. But the key is put your own on first, because if you're not full, and I know so many people, particularly women, I would say, who are absolutely run ragged and then think there's something wrong with them. They're not good enough. They're not enough this. They're not enough of that, when that's blatantly not true.
Yeah. Yeah, it's hard, because we do live in this world of push, and let's do everything quickly, and let's cram as much into our lives as possible. You know, I'd love to see. Do you know what I'd really love to see in organisations? You know that smoking breaks are allowed.
Yeah.
What about well-being breaks as well?
Do they not have those in some of the more progressive companies? I thought Google had meditation rooms or something.
I'm guessing they do. I've seen something like that, but I'd like it as
you'd like it ubiquitously. I mean, it's not everywhere. I do mean in a small percentage.
And also in schools, because the teachers, my goodness, the teachers really could do with it. You know, just a few minutes before we go into the next lesson. Yeah, I really want to thank you so much for putting my links up. You're really kind.
all part of the service, madam. All part of the service, and I'll keep them up there for the rest of the show. Anyone watching? Any comments? Any questions for Sarit? I'm sure she'd be happy to answer them. Tell us more about your book. So, is it partly biographical, partly your journey? Has it got practices in there? Tell us about it.
Yeah, it's like a magical blend of life writing and self-help. I know that I'm not a known person, and so why should people read my story, which is what some publishers asked me.
Well, neither was Neil Donald Walsh, but he wrote Conversations with God.
Yeah.
No one was known, and everyone started as unknown. You know.
Yeah.
Everyone started that way.
Yeah.
You never start. You never start as a known person. That's the result, not the beginning.
Indeed. Yeah. Yeah. So what I would say is, because I care about humanity, I care about every person in this world, and I really, really want them to have a better life.
That's
And
beautiful.
I wish the greatest quality of life for everyone. And I believe that some of the things that I've put in the book, hopefully all the book, but everybody's different, can do that. You know, if you're open, and if you can also be flexible in your own learning and receiving it in your own way. Don't like, and this is what I've put as a caveat in the front of the book, this is my journey, this is what's worked for me. Please be open and try to see what works for you. And there are practices in there, and I've tried to be really inclusive with them. I've tried not to say you must do it in this way, or you need to write a journal, or you need to do this. I've
No,
said,
because what works for some people absolutely won't work for others. I learned that when I did NLP. We are all different, and we all process the world differently, and we all see or hear or feel things in different ways, and all that sort of thing. And the key for that is, like you say, flexibility. If you say
yeah,
it must be like this, then it kind of defeats the object, doesn't it?
yeah. And because I've discovered as well that I'm neurodivergent, I also, well, not just because of that, I already wanted to try to make it more inclusive for neurodivergent people, so that they can try things out, and do them in their own ways, and not feel like they have to read this, or they have to do this, or they have to write or draw, whatever it is. I've even put, you know, if you feel like it, do a dance, you know, if that's something that makes you come alive and
Can I ask you
nourishes you.
something? As a neurodivergent person,
Hmm.
what challenges do you face that people without neurodiversity don't?
Part of my neurodiversity is being super sensitive. So it might be if I'm in a crowded room and there are a lot of energies around, and maybe my cup isn't full enough, I might struggle to concentrate, or I might feel overwhelmed and
Yeah.
overloaded. So I guess, I mean, now I'm far less apologetic about it. If I need to leave a room, I'll leave a room, but I will obviously explain. And like, you know, on Monday, bless him, Russ was really, really lovely when the gardeners were doing their fantastic dance in the garden.
Oh, the
And
leaf
then
blower instant, yes.
well, it was actually, no, I didn't realize it was a whole team of gardeners. um, you know, and I was doing quite well at the beginning, but it kind of kept hammering, and I think it was just kind of penetrating my aura a little bit as well.
Yeah, so
Um,
you're more hypersensitive to noise, that sort of thing. And
Noise and energies in general. So, and if they
what energy
are,
do you thrive in? What's your happy place energy?
hmm, I'm
Because for me, it could be by a riverbank with a mate, or it could be in a nightclub. I can do either, but I'm
right,
guessing you're not the same.
definitely in nature.
Didn't think you were going to say nightclub then.
Uh, well, I'll tell. Look, if I could, if there was a lovely nightclub where the music wasn't too loud and it wasn't too crowded, and maybe it wasn't so dark, and it was my favorite music, that I would thrive in that environment. I would love it. I would be dancing till all hours. But as yet, I have not discovered a nightclub that does that, and also
Ah,
doesn't play like negative
you haven't
music.
been to my online nightclub, because in lockdown I was
Oh,
broadcasting virtual parties, and it was
oh,
Southwest London's only online nightclub. So I tell
oh.
you what we could do one night, if you like. You can invite a bunch of people together. I don't know if you're doing a launch or something like that, and I'll do you a virtual party, and it'll be your music in your environment because you'll be at home.
Oh my God, that's amazing. I would love that. Thank
Would
you.
you?
Thank you. I
Yeah,
would.
literally, I can broadcast a party, and everyone can tune in from all over the place. So, what did you say? What was it? Not too loud, in an environment that you like, with music
Yeah.
that you like, and not too many people.
Yeah.
Or you could be by yourself in your environment at the music at your volume and your choice of music. There we go.
I love it. I love it. Thank you. That's so
Boom.
kind. Yeah.
Yeah, you're
I have to
welcome. Why not?
go into a forest or a park or somewhere that isn't going to disturb anyone else, because I have to be mindful of that too.
You are so much more considerate than me.
It's all about balance, isn't it? There's, you know, balance and boundaries. Boundaries, we were saying before.
Balance and I remember the Barefoot Doctor. I think he's no longer with us. Do you remember Barefoot Doctor?
Vaguely, yes.
He would teach Taoism in a very contemporary, brilliant way, and he was based in Ibiza, which tells you an awful lot about him. So there was the whole vibe there. But I think one of his quotes was, "Your body is half temple, half nightclub." He said,
That's brilliant.
and he said, "Too much temple is boring, and too much nightclub, and you die." So it's all about balance, middle ground, you know.
It's funny you mentioned Taoism, actually, because I am a Tao hands practitioner. It's a type of healing.
Well, let's hear it then. What's this all about? That was a plot twist.
Yeah, because so Tao hands is like a transmission. I think it's similar to Reiki, but you receive a transmission from, his name is Dr. and Master Zhi Gang Sha, and he has created this amazing organization. And you receive a transmission from source, and it enables you to ask for these very, very high level healing blessings for other people. So it's not me doing the healing, it's source, and it's just me asking, please, can you bless this person for whatever request they have. And it's changed my life. My goodness me, the transformations, some of the things I had going on, they're a bit personal, so I won't share. But
no, of course not, Moni. But so what I will ask though is, in practicing this, even though it's for the benefit of other people, you can't help benefit too.
My goodness, like honestly, just doing blessings, I just feel so peaceful. It almost feels like,
well, just being in the attitude of blessing, it's like being in the attitude of celebration, isn't it? Or celebration, blessing, gratitude.
Yeah, completely. I mean, I'm just trying to think of something that I wouldn't mind sharing, just to give you an idea. I suppose it's,
if you can, I mean, absolutely not whatever you're comfortable with.
I know, it's just, I can imagine some people are thinking, yeah, it's fine. You can say that, but I have to take your word for it. And that's fair enough. I know that it's changed some physical chronic conditions I've had. It's helped me change the information inside me. And as a result, okay, let me give you an example. I had a pain in my shoulder, and I did a blessing on myself. And as part of the blessing, I go into a short meditation, and I listen out for any information that's coming. And it told me that I was carrying a burden. And I went in, when I went into meditation, I understood what that burden was. It was something family orientated. Sure. And once I addressed that burden, the shoulder pain went. So, it might not miraculously suddenly change something, but it will give you the information and the guidance to do it yourself. It can do both, though. I've seen some pretty strong results from it, not just the mental side, but the physical side. But it's just really quite incredible.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
I suppose with all these treatments, it's self-help at its highest level. I suppose that's the words I'm looking for. And it gives you, it's not, I think there's a lot of people with a more cynical mind that think this is just rubbish. What is it? Magical fairy dust? No, it's not that. But it's, for example, if I do NLP with people, and they can have changes very, very quickly and go, wow, that's amazing. How did you do that? And the answer is, I didn't, you did. I just know what buttons to push. Or the right questions to ask, and it shines the light and gives them the resources, or shows them that they already have the resources they need to do whatever they need to do. And it's kind of a little like that, if I'm right. Am I right?
Yes. Yeah, because Source wants us to feel powerful. Source wants us to know how powerful we are. And the thing is, you wouldn't even need me to bless yourself. You can bless yourself, or you can ask nature to bless you. You can. This is just one modality. People, you could You could bless a friend of yours just by saying, like, you know, I wish you the very greatest quality of life. I hope that you feel good. I wish you well-being. I wish you abundance. That's blessing somebody. You know, you don't even need a certificate to do that.
No, but it's the complete opposite attitude of what most people have, because most people are complaining.
Yes, and I wanted to say I saw a comment coming up before. I didn't see who it was.
Oh no, that's our resident comedian. That's Graham Pack. After nearly 40 years of marriage, I don't get any gratitude from my wife.
Okay, I wasn't sure if it was tongue in cheek or if it was a
Oh yes, I
genuine.
can assure you, most things he does are tongue in cheek. Please don't. I can only apologise for him.
And no, look, it's fine. I mean, if it was a serious comment, I'd be inclined to say, "Gosh, that sounds difficult." What
No,
about?
don't let him draw you in.
Okay, all right then. Let's move
It's
on.
been 40 minutes and 48 seconds now, and I still haven't asked you the title of your book.
Okay. It's Gratitude Goldmine. And just on a note of self-care, I've been sat for 40 minutes and I'm a bit stiff. So do you mind if I have a little stretch?
I don't mind at all. I'll do it with you.
Oh,
This is great radio.
yeah. It's really important. We're not really meant to be sat down for this long. That's why I like to have a stretch. Oh, okay, that's good. Thank you very much. Yes. So it's called Gratitude Goldmine, and the reason it's called Gratitude Goldmine is I believe we all have our own gold mine that we can dig into, but you do have to take the time to do it. You have to invest the time, and you need to be open to seeing all the gifts that are around you and within you, because I think that's something we forget, is there's a lot of good stuff going on inside ourselves. I know a lot of people have chronic health conditions and some serious health conditions, and I'm not saying, you know, somebody like that needs to say, oh yes, but everything else is going okay. I'm not saying that. And it's also not, you know, if you break one leg, I'm not suggesting you say, oh good, the other one's working. If you can do that,
no,
wow.
not at all. But it is worth pointing out that if you break a leg, it's not the doctor that heals it; it's nature.
It is.
Right.
It's your
So
intelligence.
therefore, there is a healing force that operates with us. If I cut the back of my hand or anywhere on my body, I'm fairly sure that it would heal. And so what is that healing force? And more pertinently, what blocks it? Why? Here's a question for you. Right, it's a great question. Right, so you've got a pain in your shoulder, all right?
Yeah.
Why didn't your body automatically heal that? Why did it take you to do this practice before you could release the healing energy? Oh, that's a good question.
Because my human mind was stressing about it. Stress inhibits the human ability to heal yourself.
Well, the stress response is sympathetic response, fight or flight, which I would argue 90% of the world is in 90% of the time.
Yeah.
And that's generous. Yeah. But the opposite, which I've been studying a lot recently, is its kind of angel twin, the parasympathetic nervous system. And this is rest and digest and healing. And a very wise man once said, all healing happens, it wasn't me, in the parasympathetic nervous system. In other words, you can't be stressed and heal at the same time.
Absolutely right. And
it's one or the other.
Yeah. Yeah. No.
So why would we even need the sympathetic nervous system at all? Well, according to the evolutionary theory, we needed an awful lot of it. We had to, run away from saber-toothed tigers or velociraptors, depending on how far back you go, assuming they existed. But you know what I mean. But nowadays, it's the threats are different. They're more kind of mental threats, like an unpaid bill, or the kids wind you up, or the boss chews you out. So we spend too much time in the sympathetic. That increases cortisol. It's got nowhere to go in the body. It's all sloshing around, and then it starts to affect our well-being.
And those threats are very sneaky. That's the thing. They're very sneaky. And if we're not on top of them, they will eat away at us and they will keep us stuck. And the stress will become toxic. Yeah.
Nicely said. I mean, I'm not saying we don't need it. If I was walking down the street and a mugger jumps out at me, I probably wouldn't say, excuse me, do you mind, I'm just balancing my heart chakra? But
You wouldn't.
No, I probably would, because just to get the reaction, and then I kick him in the what's and run probably. But again, the whole point of that is, in that slightly comedic example, it's short burst.
Yes.
But after
It's
that,
supposed to be. Yes.
it's supposed to be a short burst.
Yes.
It's supposed to be. You see it in nature. If a gazelle gets chased by a lion and survives, it'll do that shaky thing, which they're shaking out all that stress. You must have seen it on the nature program. But then they forget it, and they're back in their well-being. We don't. You don't see a gazelle go, yes, that was a bit traumatic with the lion. I think I'm going to see a therapist for years. You know? So nature's kind of better at doing it than we are, but you do see that, don't you?
Well, so animals are, because they don't have the human mind, which is constantly thinking, I need to be better. I'm not doing well enough. I need to succeed. I need money. I need this. I need to have a partner. That they're not. I mean, obviously they do think with, mates and things like that. They do need a mate. But gratitude activates the parasympathetic nervous system. It is amazing for that, because for me, it's a vibration of all is well. All is well. And even if it isn't all well, you can find, I guarantee, if you look around now, you can find 5 things that are going right for you, even within you or just around you. 5 things that are going right.
Do you want to flip flop? Let's flip flop. Let's find 10 things that are going right.
Okay, perfect. Yeah. Okay.
Who wants to go first?
I'll go first. Okay.
You go first.
My Wi-Fi booster worked when I switched it on.
It made very entertaining visual radio when it froze and you weren't there. It looked like a really good magic trick. So I've been entertained this morning in a completely unexpected way. Your turn.
I have glasses that enable me to see you very clearly, and what a lovely view it is.
Well, thank you. I didn't think it was that kind of show. I got to make a cheesy joke and flex my comedic muscles briefly. There we go.
Excellent. I felt confident enough to say to you, I'd like to have a stretch, please. And you received that with grace. Still don't really know 100% what it means, but you were very gracious about it.
Okay. 99% of my body is working really, really well. The vast majority, there's a zillion systems in my body that are working completely under my mental radar, but are absolutely working perfectly, supporting me in being able to do what I want to do at the moment, which is for the next 12 and a half minutes, talk to you.
Fantastic.
There's 3.
Yes. I'm noticing my internal, my hunger pangs. And I know that when I come off this call, I can go and make myself some food.
There is food immediately available. I don't have to go and hunt for it. My equivalent of hunter-gathering is building up my club card points at Tesco. There's 4.
Brilliant. Well, my microphone is working. I have this lovely newfangled microphone my lovely fiance bought me for, sorry for the noise, for my birthday. And nice. I feel more professional with it.
Okay. So, yeah. You do come across very professionally, speaking to someone in the industry. I have a fun Bluetooth speaker, which I take to comedy gigs, and it flashes as well. It makes pretty lights, but it's just kind of a fun thing. But why not?
Brilliant. Yeah. Did we reach our 10?
Sorry.
Did we reach our 10, or did I?
Well, we were going to do 10 each, weren't we?
Oh, 10 each. Fantastic.
Okay, so you give us 5, then I'll give you 5.
Okay, brilliant.
You have 30 seconds starting.
Well, I'm very grateful that my posture is working for me today, because sometimes I slouch, but I'm noticing that I've been able to put my feet flat on the ground, and that's helping me feel aligned. And as a result, second thing that's going right, I feel like my chi is flowing better, and that's also enabling me, third thing that's going right, to flow with you energetically.
I think they call that a gratitude chain.
So in my book, I've got gratitude on a roll, or I think I took out gratitude snowball, but yeah, it can be like a positive spiral. Yeah,
Yes.
that's possibly the best kind of gratitude because it's organic and it just flows
And
naturally.
it keeps growing with our attention to it as well.
Yeah.
A chain, it was more, I can eat a delicious potato, but then there's the farmer that grew the potato, and then he gets work out of supplying for people. And it's the chain of events. Come on, 2 more from you.
2 more from me. So my laptop, I received this laptop from a wonderful charity called Second Chance, and it's a refurbished laptop. So, and but it's actually really fast. So I'm very grateful that that's all working. And also I feel very healthy today. I had work in the morning, which I'm my part-time stability role is a kids exercise coach. I go into nurseries and teach kids. And I feel really quite energized from that. So yeah, feeling healthy.
And there's
And you?
10. I was out in the backyard at Radio Jackie where I work today doing a 7-minute exercise routine with my co-presenter and my news girl. If you could have seen us, there's the 3 of us doing that, sort of lying on the floor doing this, out of breath. And then there's the mid-morning guy sitting there having a fag, looking and going, no.
Oh, brilliant. You've got to have the yin and yang, eh?
What I know, right? So well, 5 things I'm grateful for. I'm grateful I've got back into stand-up comedy. I like my comedy peer group, and I love being in a comedy club. I really do like that. It's just a vibe that I like. I get to laugh a lot. I have a girlfriend who I'm very fond of, which I'm really grateful for. I have a daughter who's amazing, and I'm really grateful for her. I've got a garden I can look out on, which is nice. And my friend cut the grass yesterday without me having to ask, which I'm really grateful for. And I've served people this morning by being on Radio Jackie, and now here, and now you by helping you talk about your new book, which the name of which I'm going to put on the screen. So it's not, there's 10. So it's not available yet, no?
No, I'm just going through the final part of the self-publishing process. So
when do you think it'll be ready?
I hope by actually it should be Monday, I would say. All being well.
Oh, really
Monday.
soon then?
Yeah, because it's just the final revisions and all of that kind of stuff. Yeah.
What are you doing for a launch?
That's a good question. Because it's an ebook, I haven't. I suppose I feel more like that's a soft launch. The paperback will hopefully emerge not long after, so by then I will have thought of a launch. But
because we could do something. We could do something online if you want. If you can get like the virtual equivalent of bums on seats, the eyeballs on screen, we can do it online. I was doing that through lockdown.
That'd be lovely.
And excerpts from the book and all, and then we can do that party in your dream nightclub. In other words, your own home.
Oh, amazing! Yeah, that sounds fantastic. Thank you so much.
Well, let me know. Hit me up on Facebook. I haven't done one of those since lockdown, actually, or not many. So they're quite fun to do, actually.
Oh, I must say I'm not on Facebook anymore. I came off a couple of years ago due to mental health. Wanted to keep my energy clearer, and it's worked.
Did I say I was doing them on Facebook?
I think you did, but maybe you didn't.
No, actually, I thank you for picking me up on that. It's not on Facebook because I'm not allowed to. I start getting nasty messages on the screen. You're using copyrighted content, and I'm like, but I paid for it. But you can't argue with an algorithm. I use another platform called Mixcloud. Now that's interesting. I think Facebook, it's the comparison trap. I think you can, if you look at Facebook, you could be forgiven for thinking everyone in the world is having the most amazing life apart from me.
Yeah. It was also the overwhelm of information though, because as I've mentioned, I'm very sensitive to energy. So if I would go on there and there was a lot of suffering and a lot of other stuff and also just trying to keep on top of all my communications, I found I was having Facebook friendships rather than live friendships, and I wanted to nurture my living friendships more.
And that's a very good reason. I'm not prolific on Facebook. I'll use it to advertise bits that I'm doing, and I sometimes like to log in for maybe 10 minutes once a night and do the online equivalent of kind of barracking each other over the fence and shouting funny insults at each other. But apart from that, I don't particularly need to know everyone's movement every single moment of every day. And if they want to know mine, I think they should probably get out more. But, but you know, so the paperback's coming out, and then and the dream is to build an organization that serves many people to have their best life.
Yeah, but hopefully part of that will be like a community of earth-loving people who want to pay their gratitude forward.
Oh yeah.
Because something I used to do, 2009, Club Sandwich it was called, and I
Now, why does
created.
that sound familiar? Not for the obvious reason, because I know what a club sandwich is, but why does it sound familiar?
It might have been in, I don't know, some local paper or local social media or something. Yeah,
Maybe,
we were a sandwich making club for the homeless, and we would get together once a month to make sandwiches. And it was great because, people just brought whatever they could afford. Some people brought a loaf of bread, some people brought butter, some people brought fillings and all sorts of stuff. And we would just get together, have a bit of a chin wag while making sandwiches for the homeless. And it was so lovely. You've just forgot about all your problems. Your biggest problem
Well,
was
they
like,
say that if you
yeah,
do something of service to someone else,
yeah,
it takes you out of yourself a bit.
completely.
It just sounds like a fun thing to do, like almost like a potluck party, isn't it?
Yeah. It's also like, sorry, go ahead.
No, after you.
Just like the creativity of, what can we put with what? Oh, we've got hummus, and does that go with coleslaw? Okay. Those kinds of things. Yeah. But the thing is, sorry, I feel like I've interrupted you again.
Not at all. No. I was going to ask, does hummus go with coleslaw?
Only on a Wednesday, apparently. I don't know.
Right.
You. No. The thing about Club Sandwich was it started as something that was, just about making sandwiches. But as my journey with gratitude grew, I brought gratitude more into the format. We would start by thinking about things we were grateful for and trying to put that energy into the love and the work that we were doing, so that it wasn't just, showing up, having a social, making some sandwiches and going off again. It was more of a conscious kind of volunteering, so that the feeling stayed with you a bit more, and also hopefully the love was sent into these sandwiches. So when people ate them, because it's not sustainable charity work. You give someone a sandwich, they're still homeless. So ultimately, I would like to create a charity, like a charity arm of my company, where we sustainably help people. I'm thinking like a massive building that's a bit like Maslow's hierarchy of needs, the pyramid. So, if you're homeless, you go to the bottom floor and we help there. Yeah. And then gradually all the way up, so people who want help.
Yes. I want to go to the top to self-realization, please.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. But you'd have to climb the stairs and make sure that you're fulfilled at the other levels. Yeah.
Because you can't have the top one unless you're fulfilled at the other levels.
So that's an interesting point, because there's a wonderful friend of mine in Uganda. His name is Massa Fred, and he runs an orphanage for 70 children.
Okay.
Now, they struggle sometimes to eat. And yet, maybe his purpose is serving these 70 children, and he's doing it. Maybe they're still struggling, but he's still doing it. So I guess you could say he's aspiring to it.
I didn't quite mean it that way. I meant personally, I don't think on an individual level we can hit self-realization if we're in survival mode at the very bottom.
100%.
You need to have they need to go up. I think they were in that order for a reason. I'm certainly not saying he's not serving a fantastic purpose, far from it. And I suppose it's also quite reassuring, because you can't solve all the problems. You can only do what you can do.
Yeah.
You know,
But the
but I
survival
love
mode thing.
I love your phrase sustainable uh,
Yeah.
charity work or volunteering. That's a really nice
Conscious,
word.
sustainable. Yeah, yeah. So that it comes from the heart, and it's not just, oh, I should be doing something for someone. It's like, I feel grateful for everything I have in my life, and I want others to benefit from my enjoyment of it. Because I can't feed Massa. You know, maybe I can donate a little bit, but I can't physically feed him. So I would like to create a sustainable project one day to help him. I think it's chickens. He wants to have a chicken coop with chickens. So that's something I'd like to help him with, so that he can then feed himself. Doesn't have to have
I wonder if
donations.
we could do some fundraising if we do your virtual party.
That would be amazing. That
Okay,
would be, yeah.
challenge for you then.
Okay.
Get a bunch of people together who are going to
Okay.
turn up at one point on a link, and we'll see. I wonder how much to raise it to a chicken coop would cost. I wonder.
I'm going to ask him. He's been working on this for a while. He's been sort of doing the maths and stuff. So I'll ask him.
Because I don't imagine it will be that much. I mean, I'm a relative. It's all relative, isn't it? I mean, because
Yeah.
I'm a member of a charity called Water Aid, and
Oh, wow.
I really love Water Aid because obviously water is quite important for people. But I give 20 quid a month, but that does so much. Even 2 quid a month can virtually give water to a whole village, and that's big. It's not like
Yeah.
a faceless charity where you think, oh, I'll never see the money again, and the CEO is probably getting paid millions, which is a lot of people's complaints about charities. We have got some more comments. Hold on. Graham Pack, he's not trying to be funny now. Have you looked at the books by John Sarno that says many ailments can be dealt with the mind rather than medical intervention? I haven't heard of John Sarno, but I've certainly heard that idea before. Definitely.
Yeah, I haven't heard of him either, but so Dr. and Master Zhigang Shah has written many books. There's actually a science to it. It's like quantum physics and things like that talk about, the soul as the warehouse, and so if you heal the soul, you heal the body.
There's a guy called David Hamilton as well. I don't mean the DJ, but there's another guy,
Doctor.
Have you heard of David Hamilton?
Oh, he's such a blessing. Kindness. He talks about kindness a lot and the science of kindness.
And self-love.
Yeah.
Graham, where's the leaf blower? Has Sarit shot him? Oh, for goodness sake.
God forbid.
We've been talking about love and gratitude. I don't imagine at 1 o'clock she's going to pull out a gun and go and track down the leaf blower.
Never.
She's probably going to give him a hug. And Graham, as Facebook has offices in Ireland, do they use the algorithm method? I can only apologise for him. Sorry. It's been lovely. It's been lovely talking to you. I'm sorry about him.
No, all good. It's all good. It's all part of the flow.
All part of the flow. Keep in touch. Definitely very interested in doing that virtual party for you. Your challenge is to get some bums on seats. You get them in, I'll keep them in. That's
Thank you.
And we will shamelessly rinse them for the common good and see if we can raise enough money for a chicken coop. Because what we're saying about Water Aid is it didn't take much. 20 quid can do a whole village, and I imagine it can't cost that much for a chicken coop in Uganda. I mean, it's going to be in the hundreds, not thousands, isn't it? It's not going to be.
I'm going to ask him. Yeah, I'll see. He might already have done the calculations. He's got an Instagram account.
Let me know. Hit me up on the socials and let me know. I'll be really interested to help. That would be such a buzz. And this is the miracle of technology. Live from Southwest London, we can create a chicken coop in Uganda.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
And why the hell not?
Maybe he'll name one of his chickens after you.
Maybe Neil the chicken. Right. So just one more time at Highest Good Wellbeing, all the W's, the highestgoodwellbeing.com on for your website. On the socials at Highest Good Wellbeing. The book to look out for very soon is Gratitude Goldmine, Sarit Gafan. And it's been wonderful talking to you, Sarit. Thank you so much.
And my greatest gratitude to you. You are a very kind man. Thank you very much, Neil. Really appreciate it.
It's been absolutely lovely talking to you. Lots of love. Take care, and I'll see you around. Take care.
Thank you. Bye.
What an absolutely lovely lady. Very grateful to have her on the show this afternoon. Russ and the crew are going to be back on Friday with Jonathan Baz, Chantal Ricard, Screen Queen, Phil Dave. How could I? Oh my goodness me, I nearly forgot Phil Dave. He'll kill me for that. And of course, the legend that is Russ Kane. I'll see you Monday with Russ, and I'll see you next Wednesday by myself. Thank you very much indeed for tuning in. It's been really, really good. You take the best of care. Very grateful. See what I did there? To have your company. Take care. Good afternoon.